With an entire universe spreading out in all directions around us, what are the chances that Earth is the only planet with life? And how likely is it that if there is something else out there, then it's never crossed paths with our world? There's growing pressure on the authorities to reveal what they really know about alien life, with some claims that the truth is also quite a morbid affair. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're answering the extraordinary question, is the government hiding dead extraterrestrials? On June 5th, 2023, online news platform The Debrief published some explosive claims relating to the US government and intelligence agencies, an apparent cover-up of UAP and potentially of alien life. This piece, written by Leslie Kane and Ralph Blumenthal, focuses on testimony from one David Grusch, a one-time high-ranking US official turned headline-making whistleblower. In the article, in a subsequent interview with News Nation, and in various public appearances since, Grusch maintains that the United States is running, and has run for a long time, a top-secret UFO retrieval program. He alleges that America has, or knows of, intact and partially intact vehicles, UFOs that are not just spotted in the sky before disappearing, but are apparently held and presumably studied. Grusch has previously worked extremely closely with the UAP Task Force, an official branch of the government that's since been restructured, but one that expressly dealt with an ever-increasing number of UAP reports. According to Grusch's account, however, it would seem that various bits of data and key pieces of information haven't always been followed up on or investigated thoroughly, often as a result of an active attempt to cover up the truth made by certain groups or figures on the inside. These are bombshell allegations from the outset, but there's one particular aspect of what Grusch has to say that really captured global attention. In amongst everything else, it said that the US has the bodies of some UFO pilots as well. The terminology has quickly expanded in this case. The phrase non-human is frequently used to highlight just how otherworldly the stuff that's allegedly being hidden seemingly is. But during the first day of a highly anticipated UFO congressional hearing held in Washington on July 26, 2023, the watching world became aware of non-human biologics specifically. When asked if there were any bodies of pilots recovered from crashed UFOs, Grusch stated that biologics came with some of these recoveries, as he had previously said in his News Nation interview. When asked whether they were human or non-human biologics, Grusch responded, "Non-human," and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge of the program I talked to. However, having seemingly opened the door to yet more massive revelations, much of the rest of what Grusch initially had to say was a little more ordinary. For instance, he suggested that he himself had never seen an alien body, that his claims are more based on extensive interviews that he's conducted with high-ranking figures from within America's UAP intel circles. For those less inclined to go along with what Grusch is claiming, that in itself might be reason enough to dismiss him. On the other hand, however, Grusch insists that he has faced strong, seemingly intimidating resistance off the back of his whistleblowing exploits. On multiple occasions, he has claimed to be unable to disclose some bits of information in public, but has insisted that he can do so in private. If there is a truth to be known then, it would seem that he was once a man who operated very close to that truth. But could that mean that he now knows too much? According to reports, and to suggestions made by Grusch, there have been instances where officials have been physically injured, sometimes by other officials, as part of the alleged UAP cover-up. Grusch's descriptions of exactly what happened are often ambiguous, but he has used words such as aggressive and disturbing. Ultimately, as well, he isn't on his own. Not now, and not in history. At the same congressional hearing, Grusch was flanked by two other once senior figures giving testimony, former members of the US Navy, David Fravor and Ryan Graves. Fravor, in particular, has been in the news a lot in recent times, explaining what he saw when he witnessed the so-called Tic Tac UFO off the California coast in 2004. The sighting is now enshrined in history as the FLIR video, one of 3 official UFO clips released by the Pentagon in 2020. Meanwhile, Graves provided some of the most eye-opening statements in the hearing, including allegations that he himself witnessed UAP every day for at least a couple years. He also claimed that it's a similar case the world over, and when asked if there were any similarities between UAP sightings, Graves mentioned that they were dark gray or black cubes inside clear spheres. David Grusch remains the leading current claimant in terms of suggested alien life and bodies in particular, but again, there have been others before him. According to Grusch, America's UFO retrieval program goes back decades to at least the Second World War. Of course, over that particular time period, the rise in infamy of Area 51 has demanded most of the world's conspiracy suspicions. One of the most notorious allegations centered around a claimed alien autopsy video acquired and released by the British filmmaker Ray Santilli in the mid-1990s. The 17-minute black-and-white clip was allegedly given to Santilli by a former and anonymous member of the US military. It showed what was apparently a humanoid alien being worked on by seeming surgeons. However, in the time since it's released, Santilli wound up admitting that the clip itself was actually a reconstruction of another piece of film, witnessed by Santilli, but deemed too damaged and unusable in its original state. Unfortunately, that initial film has never been seen by anyone else. Elsewhere, and it's not as though rumors of the US knowing about and experimenting on captured lifeforms in general is especially new either. Arguably the most famous, as yet unconfirmed or proven example is the Montauk Project. The conspiracy theory here says that for decades in the latter half of the 20th century, US intelligence agencies conducted top-secret experiments surrounding everything from time travel to teleportation and telepathy. The program was allegedly run out of Camp Hero in New York State, and some versions of the legend claim that extraterrestrial beings were among those being held and researched there. In fact, it's said that many of the studies held at Montauk may have begun life after the reverse engineering of some not-of-this-world alien tech. So, if true, it means that while it's long been all eyes on the Nevada desert and Area 51 for most mainstream alien hunters and science fiction enthusiasts, the US actually staged its most clandestine and extensive efforts on the other side of the country. But what's your verdict here, both regarding the contemporary claims made by David Grusch and the long-standing theories of an alien cover-up? Let us know in the comments. For now, many of those who insist that the truth is being kept hidden from us are hoping and expecting the next few weeks, months, and years to rank among the most groundbreaking that we've ever seen. The key revelations are, it seems, coming quickly over the horizon, and naturally, if and when alien contact is revealed to humankind as a whole, it would certainly mark a milestone moment in the history of our planet and species. However, as there always has been, there are other interpretations of the present situation too. For some, the testimony of David Grusch, for all the eye-catching headlines, doesn't really amount to anything new. There have been a number of whistleblowers before, and in recent times, such as the former head of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, Luis Elizondo. Many have had very similar allegations as well of crashed ships and hidden technology, but nothing so far has led to the uncovering of physical evidence. And until an alien is shown to the world, until a spaceship is witnessed by everyone, everywhere, these types of stories will always generate skepticism. On which side of the debate do you fall? Do you have a UFO story of your own that you'd like to share? And what's your opinion on the more recent push for greater UAP knowledge? Because that's why the government is allegedly hiding dead extraterrestrials. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.